Thanks for joining us today here in Google for Real Estate. We're here live on Clubhouse every Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m. I'm Derek Bixler, born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania, Central PA, we call it. Commercial and residential real estate agent since 2006, outdoor adventure sportsman, and Google marketing geek. In this room, we talk about how to dominate Google local search and get business from our Google business profiles, but we also talk about other Google tools and marketing stuff, digital marketing stuff. And like today, we'll be talking about Google Maps and how to create custom Google Maps in a couple different ways. I have two. If anybody else ends up having a different way, that'll be great. But I have two ways to create custom Google shareable Google Maps. So that doesn't really have to do with marketing so much, other than maybe the ways that we use those lists and maps that we create. So I guess it does have to do with marketing. Replays are available in Clubhouse for 7 days and via the replays link that I put in the chat on my website. And if you ever just go to searchbomb.com, you can find the replays in one of the tabs there. Free reign there, nothing's gated as of right now. And screen recordings like today. That reminds me, I gotta keep moving my mouse on that computer before I go over there so that that room doesn't shut down before I get there. Stupid Google Meet. I hate Google Meet. Um, but yeah, replays are available everywhere. Come up on stage if you would like. You are encouraged to come up. You don't have to talk, but you can chime in if you have an experience or are an expert on a subject or whatever. Feel free to chime in, or if you have any questions about what we're talking about. Today will be after the AMA, and I don't really have any news to talk about, so we'll do Ask Me Anything. But after that, we'll be on the Google Meet. But I try to do the Google Meets in such a way that I am speaking everything and
Wow.
trying to explain things as I go, so you can kind of still get something out of just the audio version. But so we will move over there in a minute. Now I lost my place. So yeah, come up on stage if you want to interact or just hang out with us. And if you're in a different profession, obviously everything that we talked about here could translate to other businesses, mostly local type businesses, but some other types of businesses as well. Today, like I said, I don't have any news really. We'll do some Ask Me Anything, then we'll switch over to Google Meet. We'll still be in the room here, and you can still listen right here also, but we will also be in the Google Meet if anybody wants to go there. The recording for that Google Meet will be placed in my vault and go out in my email, and then also I'll probably upload it to the Real Estate All Day Facebook group, so you can get it there as well. And so let's get after it. I don't have any news, so we'll jump right into Ask Me Anything. Does anybody have any questions,
No,
issues, anything?
but I have a comment. Okay, number one, the ornament exchange, the drawing for names is tonight. So the cutoff is at 12 noon. And Derek, I was listening to the replay last night and I hit a wrong button. And can you imagine? I 1.5 you and I can't believe it. And you were talking twice as fast as you do now.
That must be illegible, ill whatever the version for auditory, not able to follow it. Yeah, that would be crazy. Do you want to put the link in the chat? If you have a link for the sign up, feel free to put that in the chat and people can still hit that up if they want to.
Okay, I'm driving, but I think Donna can do it. I hope. Otherwise, when I stop, I'll do it.
I got it.
Thank you,
Sweet.
Donna.
Hit that up if you haven't already. Always a good time. Except I heard a few people say they bought ornaments before they heard who they were giving it to. And that can't be personal. So I wait and I try to make it personal, not calling people out. But I hopefully some thought is put into whatever you give somebody, or I like to anyway. I'm easy. If you're getting something from me, I'm really easy. A backpacking thing, a rock climbing, blah blah blah. Um, I always say if it's hard to buy somebody a gift, that person needs to get some hobbies. Like if I have to default to food and alcohol to every time I buy you something because I don't know what you like or you don't like anything, that's a problem there. I don't know why I'm ranting about that, but I just heard somebody say they had gotten it long ago, and I was like, well, what? What if you bought like some crystal froofy thing, and then you get my name? I'm gonna get that crystal froofy thing. Froofy, is that a word? All right, Donna, I see you got the link in the chat, and that just takes you to a simple Google form. So, link is in the chat if you want to sign up for the ornament exchange, which is always fun. And I guess they're picking names tonight in the real estate from the heart room. That's where you're doing it.
We are, I think what I'm going to do is try to encourage and push everyone to a Zoom link. I just got a Zoom link from Michelle this morning, and Mia has it. So everybody that has signed up so far and any that's added between now and then will get an email from, I think Mia's sending it, if not both Mia and I or something, but you'll get an email today with a link to join at 5 Eastern time. And I'm only doing that because we're not doing like a StreamYard thing. And I started thinking about, is it going to have a hard connection if we're in both, and if somebody's unmiked and da da da. So I'm going to go into the clubhouse room and actually make sure the link is provided in the clubhouse room at 5 tonight. um, and we'll leave it open, but I'm going to encourage, even if somebody doesn't want, their video on, I'm going to encourage everybody to shoot over to the Zoom, because I think we'll be able to be more interactive that way and a little cleaner reception. But that's
Awesome.
it. Yeah, we're drawing the names tonight. Courtney's doing the wheel, and Mia's calling out the names, and then they'll get matched and just go down the list.
There's an actual wheel that like tick 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 tick
No,
tick
it's
tick
a
tick.
computer thing, like a Wheel of Fortune wheel or something. It's a computer thing that Courtney's used before, and we thought that that would be a fun way to do it. I've typically just cut the names apart on the list and put them in a bowl and drawn them that way. So this will be fun. It's an interactive way for everybody to kind of watch and participate. I feel like it's a clubhouse event, and sometimes it's hard for everybody to be there for the actual exchange, which is in December 11th. All that information's on that form, but it just kind of lengthens the celebration a little bit. So anyway, yeah,
And
Yeah,
everybody
it
that's
has.
awesome.
will be, yeah, it will be on Zoom, not in the real estate from the heart room. It'll be Zoom.
Okay, but you'll drop the Zoom link in probably the group and the room tonight to get people over there, I
Absolutely. Yep.
guess is what I heard,
Yep.
right?
And
Yep.
I'll have the room open just to try to make sure that things are, flowing over there. But I just don't want there to be somebody complaining like we can't hear you, because we're not doing all the fancy connections between everything. So, but
Right.
yeah, it should be fun.
Sweet.
Encourage
Yeah. So hit up
everyone
the
to
room
go.
to get the link, and then you can, I mean, Zoom's just like Clubhouse. If you didn't want your camera on and don't want to watch visually, that can be audio only there too. So pretty much exact same thing anyway. Which begs the why don't people use Zoom to do this? I'm not sure why. And Chatter, what? That still doesn't work for Android. So I don't even check that. And even when I do check it, there's nobody over there. So that I don't like to talk bad about things, but doesn't seem like that is being the success that everyone hoped. Maybe it will be. Anyway, all right. So let's get into this. Any questions? Anything about Google Business Profile, local services? Anything else?
I do, Derek. I have a question.
What's up,
Can
Shawnee?
you,
What's up?
hey, how are you? I'm
Good.
just like
You?
here driving. I hope you can hear me. Yep.
Yeah, you're good.
Um, I wanted to ask, and I'm a little bit behind the curve probably because I've been doing so many other things, but how does Google Profiles, how does it feel about, like if you put, I guess it's more about reviews. What if you put a link? How does it feel about links? If you, like for instance, if you write a review and put a link in it, or put a link in in your profile, how's that? Do those get removed ever?
Uh,
Just wondering.
you definitely don't want to be spammy with links. Like you can't, from the owner's perspective, managing a Google Business Profile, you don't want to put links in your description. You don't want to put links in your in your update posts, like in the description, you can put it where it says pick a button and learn more, put the link there. But if you're spammy about it and put it in the text part of it, or even on the picture or that kind of thing, um, same with phone numbers, actually. They call that phone stuffing or something like that. Don't put phone numbers or websites or anything in the words of posts and really anywhere. In the description, not in there. In review replies, don't want to put them in there. So really, you wouldn't be putting links anywhere other than when it gives you the opportunity to select a learn more button. Or on your website, obviously, there's one link you're putting in for your website button. From the users and giving a review or putting a link in a review or something like that, that would be blocked too, I believe. I've never heard anybody talk about that, but that's got to be against the policy for sure.
See, because I was wondering, like, for instance, if somebody wrote a review on my profile, or if I wrote a review, what if it was a link that they liked? I don't. I was just curious because I was just thinking about something on not on a Google profile, but I had put a link on another website and people really liked it. It was like a helpful link, and I'm just wondering, like, if I ever did that on a somebody's, like, either they did it on my profile or somebody wrote a review and it was a link that was helpful. But you say Google would probably remove it, right? You think if I tried
Yeah,
that?
that's spammy. They don't want reviews or links in that. What's helpful? What do you mean? Like the review would say Shawnee's awesome and here's
No,
a
no,
link
no,
to
no,
her listing services?
not. I wish. No, not like that. Like, you're talking about, let's say you're talking about something that's related to the service and say, well, here's a link for you to learn more information. It's not a link that they had included or something like that. Just for example, like a link that people would like that's not spammy. Not for me personally. I'm just thinking at large because I had reposted something on actually like on a Nextdoor website and I put a link in and people were so happy about it. Like, oh, that was so helpful of you. So I was just wondering if I could, what if I was to do that for like another business but I guess it makes sense. They would look at it as spammy. They don't want, why am I putting an external link?
You're talking about doing stuff as an owner of a Google business profile, doing stuff on your Google business profile. That's what you're talking about?
Either or me being a consumer writing a review for somebody else, writing a review for either another person or another business and adding a link. But a link that would actually be maybe helpful.
Yeah, I guess I'm not following
Confusing.
why a link would ever be helpful in a review, or
Okay.
it'd be like what I said. Shawnee's awesome. Here's a link to why would they share a link to her services or
Right.
yeah, I
Right.
don't know what you'd be sharing there. You'd only put links in updates or places where it
Okay.
asks for a link, which would be the website slot in products. You can add a link and updates,
Okay.
and then that's it.
Thanks.
Yeah, don't put it anywhere else.
Thank you.
Hey, Derek, this is Melanie. I've had a verified um, screenshot of someone making a Google review, and then it doesn't show up on my business profile. Do you have any ideas for me? Is there a mismatch? Is there something they're looking for that disqualifies them from posting?
There are a million reasons. I'm not privy to the list or the algorithm, but there are a lot of reasons a review could be caught up in the spam filters or not shown on a Google business profile. Some reasons would be it's a brand new Gmail address that was just created to give a review cut. It's a brand new email address. It's the first review that email address is given, so Google's not going to trust that for the most part. That's got spam written all over it, or Google Farms or review farms written all over it. And the same would be with Yelp too. You can't just go give a review and the review shows up on Yelp. There's like a waiting period, or you got to give so many reviews till it populates any of them, or something like that. So there are just filters in place, and sometimes good reviews that shouldn't be filtered out get swept up. One instance would be if somebody has like an AOL email address, they've never given a review, they don't have a Google account, and they go to give you a Google review, they're going to have to sign up for a Google account essentially to be able to give you a Google review. So that's a brand new Google account. This person's never given a review before, so they might not trust that review or let it pass through and show on your profile. And then there are a million other reasons that it could be or falsely be blocked. So it does happen. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's just, I mean, it sucks for sure because every review is hard to get and we want them and we want to rack them up. But it's just kind of the nature of the beast. Some don't show up. You can put a help ticket in. If you have that screenshot of it, that helps. When you put the help ticket in, you almost have to have that. Don't always have to, but it is good to have that. And you can put a help ticket in. There is an actual help ticket item for it. Before they didn't have a specific kind of item for that. They do now. However, it may or may not even show up once you do all that. So the time it takes you to try to get a review to show up um, is better spent just sending your link to more people. It's much easier to send out an email to 10 people or text a couple more people than it is to go through that process that may or may not work. So, yeah, short answer is it happens. Get over it and move on with your life, unfortunately. But if you wanted to take the time, you could put that help ticket in.
Melanie, this is Donna. Another option, if you were lucky enough to have a screenshot sent to you, you could put that screenshot and create like a photo, like in Canva of it, and make a post, like upload it in your photos in Google. And I mean, and just say, like, I don't know if you do Canva or not, but like another Google review, and then kind of put that in there. If you feel like it's just outstanding and you just really are sad that it's not getting shown through their own system, if that makes sense.
Yes, thank you both. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Donna's been listening. Yeah, my that's another point. They should those that person gave you those words. That's still a quote that you have permission to share and use as a testimonial. So if a review ever doesn't show up, if you have the screenshot or the text of it, you can still utilize it in other ways. Would be way nicer if it was on the Google Business Profile also, but is what it is. And then without going too much farther into it, if a person interacts with your profile a little bit, especially on the Google Maps app, clicks buttons, hearts some stuff, maybe clicks the call button, blah, 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 and then comes back later, a couple days later, and goes back to the profile on the Google Maps app and leaves the review, then a lot of times that has more um, likelihood of showing up if Google has kind of a history of that person interacting with the profile. Still not surefire, still not 100%, but it does give you a little bit better of a chance. And you can do it retroactively. Sometimes that works. You may or may not have success. Probably not, but it does work sometimes. If they left the review, it hasn't shown up. If they go back to the profile and do all those things that I was talking about, click some buttons, look at some photos, click on some products, just generally interact and click on a bunch of stuff. It might then help it to show up later, and they could go back and edit the review and add a photo and or videos or whatever. You can add media to it. They could go back and do that too if you wanted to try to help that. I mean, most times if it was blocked, it doesn't do anything when you mess around with it, but sometimes it does and might be worth a shot if it's not a huge pain in the butt for the person that gave the review. I see one raised hand. I don't think it is up anymore. Any other questions about what reviews or anything else?
Hey, Derek, it's Carissa. I'm an Austin suburb of Dripping Springs, Driftwood, Texas. I have a question for you, and it is Google review adjacent. Well, I guess I want to know if it impacts my Google business standing. So I started a YouTube channel. When I say I started it, I just like signed up for it basically. And I think I posted two videos to it. I believe. And then I got a notice saying that it was suspended. And because I don't really do anything with it, I didn't really think anything of it. And I thought, okay, who cares? Whatever, it's not a big deal. But does that impact like my overall footprint per se?
For your YouTube channel, you mean?
Well, not necessarily for my YouTube channel, but does having my YouTube channel suspended impact my favorability with Google in any way?
No, it shouldn't
Okay.
carry across to just because like the same Gmail address owns that YouTube channel. It could own multiple YouTube channels. that could own multiple Google business profiles and other things too. So yeah, it shouldn't. They're not. They shouldn't. They should be completely independent of one another.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it and appreciate all the information you share.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the question. Anybody else? Anything? This is like perfect timing because the maps thing won't take all that long, I don't think. It's not super complicated. And actually, the first part of it is just going to be audio because it can easily be done on your phone without having to do a screen share. The other custom maps are a little bit different, but all right. So if there isn't anything else, go into it. How to create custom shareable Google Maps and lists. So there are two different types of maps you can make. You can make a completely custom map in Google My Maps. It's called My Maps. So if you're trying to get to it or find it, you would go to Google and search for Google My Maps, and you should be able to get there. Once I get over to the computer, we'll probably be able to see the URL. But My Maps is what you want, and that's fully customizable, but it's kind of private. You can share it via a link or privately share it with other people to collaborate. You can embed it on your website, which I'll show you how when we screen share, but it is kind of a private map that you're making that's more customizable, and you would have to get people to share it or go find it or whatever. And then you can also make saved lists on Google Maps. And that's pretty straightforward. That's the part that I'm not going to screen share about. So like my real estate agent referral list is a Google Maps list. So the way you do that, really straightforward and easy, is you go to Google Maps, you look up a place. Let's do best pizza places. Maybe I'll make a list. So I'm going to look for Brad's Pizza. I'm going to pull up Brad's Pizza. I'm going to click in the row of buttons all the way at the top, directions, start, order, call, blah, blah, blah. You click save. It looks like a little bookmark. And then it will bring up all your lists if you have some lists, and you can put a little check mark in the box to all the lists that you want to put it in. I am going to uncheck my real estate referral network, and I'm going to click new list, and I'm going to say best pizza pizza shops. I'm going to say shops because, and I am actually touring. I've got 10 on the list. I asked in a Carlisle group what's the best traditional pizza shop because I didn't want like the microbrew who has their heady wood they just serve pizza but they're not a pizza. I want like traditional pizza shops, subs, that kind of place. So best pizza shops in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to say Pennsylvania because there is more than one Carlisle, except I don't have enough characters, so it's going to be Carlisle, PA. All right, that's my private title list, and then description. You could put some description there. I usually don't put much of anything. I by default will just copy and paste my title into the description, but you could make it better. And I might make it better if I end up using this list to put out to people when I do the video on this for my YouTube channel or whatever. But for now, I'm just going to put whatever in there. And then below, you'll see you can make it private or shared. So private, obviously, only you are going to see it, or you can make it shared, which is probably what you want to do. Technically, if people are searching for something on Google or on Google Maps, these lists could be stumbled upon and people could view them. I've never seen it happen. I've never seen other people's lists. I don't even know how that happens, so I wouldn't count on that happening. But if you want to be able to send a link, like send your list to somebody else for them to be able to see it and save it on their phone, then you have to have it as shared. So usually you're not going to do private unless it's all like family places, everybody's house in your family, and the dentist and the schools and stuff like that. That would be private for sure. But shared is usually what you're going to do. Then you just click create. You can also choose an icon for it. So actually, when I go back, I probably will pick an icon because I'm guessing there is an icon for food. Oh yeah, they give you all the emojis for your icon. Last time I made a list, there wasn't an emoji I was happy with for it. But yeah, there we go. Little pizza thing there. So, and then you can, once it's created, invite collaborators, add places to it, edit it, yada, yada. And there's a button to share it. And you just copy that link and send that link to people. And now they have that list. And if they save that list on their phone and their Google Maps, when they look at their map, they will typically see the little icons all over the map. And it actually now, instead of just a regular pin or dot, if you add that icon, Brad's Pizza on the map shows up with like a little pizza icon rather than just a restaurant icon or the default blob or circle or whatever. So that icon you see is pizza. So if they save the map on their Google Maps, when they look at their map, they would see these little pizzas all over town there. So that's Google Maps saved lists. That's pretty straightforward. You just pull up a place, start a list, and then add more to it, and then you can share it via the share button. And that's pretty straightforward. Does anybody have any questions on those kinds of maps?
Hey, Derek, this is Linda in Cypress, Texas, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure exactly where you are in Google Maps to do this list building. Can you please tell me exactly where you're doing that from?
So I would just start with the first place for that list. So what's a list you would want to make?
Well, I tried to do the pizza list for Cypress, Texas, and I went to Google Maps, okay, and I have the map that has all the places, but I don't see where I create the list.
Start with the first place. Do you have a pizza shop that you would want to add to that list?
Possibly, yes. Sure. Of course.
So type that in. Pull up that Google Business profile. And
Okay.
then once you pull
I've
that
got,
up,
mm-hmm.
there's going to be a save button.
Okay.
Click save, and then it takes you to name your list or add it to whatever
Got it.
existing list. Yep.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I just couldn't figure out exactly where you were going. So, okay. So I've created the list. I've put the pizza place in there. And now I have a search and I have a map search that has all the different pizza shops in Cyprus. How do I get that into this list?
You already have a list.
No, I don't already have a list, but I have a
So
map
you're
that
just going to
has
look
them.
up each Google Business profile and add each one.
I got it.
So
Okay.
you're going to go to Brothers Pizza,
Sure.
type in Brothers Pizza, save to best pizza places. Go to the other next one. So you're just manually adding them in there and saving them. In the other maps that we're going to talk about, you can upload spreadsheets to it.
Hmm.
Um, but on this one, yes, everyone would have to have a Google Business profile to add somebody to a list. And you just, yeah, just pull them up, click save,
Got it.
and then you can save it there.
Got it. I was thinking there was something a little more automagic than doing each one individually, but it all makes sense. So thanks. I just was trying to follow and I got it now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, once you get it, it's not complicated at all. And then where you can find your lists later, I always have a hard time finding where you find all your lists. I end up just pulling someone up that's in the list and then clicking on the list, like on their profile. Um, Oh no, there's a big save you button. That is that new? All right, so there's a big bookmark on mine that says you, and then you pull on it, you click on it, and it gives you all your lists right there, and you can three dots it and click share list, sharing options, delete list, yada yada. You can also hide it on your map. That's what I was looking for. That's why I wanted to find it. You can also hide it on your map. So if they don't hide it, it's going to show those little icons and pins on their map. Like when you look at my map, my Google Maps, when I look at the US, there are pins all over it for real estate agents. If I didn't want that to be in there and it was getting in my way or something, I could go in here and hide on my map. Most people don't know how to find this, don't know how to hide them. So if you get somebody to save your best pizza shops in Carlisle, PA list, those icons are probably going to be on there forever. And I don't get the emails, and maybe they just go to my spam or I unsubscribed from them. But a lot of the people that have saved my real estate referral network Google Maps list, when I add somebody to it, they get an email about it. Derek just added a place to the Google Maps referral list. So that's another benefit. If you can get people to save your list on their Google Maps, then they will possibly get emails from you. Hey, Linda just added a new pizza place you might want to check out. It's not going to say you might want to check out, but added a new place to the list. And that's kind of a good way you could trickle on people and kind of stay in front of people without being real estatey or whatever. And that's about it for the Google Maps lists. Does anybody else have any questions or anything on the Google Maps lists?
Hi,
I
Derek. It's Denise in Greenville, South Carolina. I have a quick question on that. When you create a map, is you as your Google location, is that automatically showing up on that map? And if you have a hidden address for your Google page, then I'm just assuming that it wouldn't show up, or does it just not show up at all? Thanks.
So I think what you mean is, so like on my real estate referral map, I have lots of agents on there who are hiding their addresses on their Google business profile. Typically, when I'm scanning, all right, somebody says I need somebody in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm going to pull up my Google map. I'm not going to my referral list. I'm just pulling up Google map and I'm zooming in on Baltimore. And then I'm going to see a pin there and I'm going to click on that pin and see what real estate agent that is. Um, you will see the pin there typically until on a hidden address, and it will probably not be sitting where you are verified in the proper location, but you'll typically see it when you're more zoomed out. And then when you try to zoom in on that business to see where that pin's sitting, it will typically disappear. And if anybody else, Apple has, I'm on Android, yada yada, and updates happen, but that's how it happens. You usually don't see, so you see the pin from afar, wouldn't see the pin if you tried to see closer up. Is that what you were getting at?
I think so, but like for instance, if I was making a pizza map, like your example, of pizza places like in my area, say there's just 5 in the area, when someone pulls up that map and they see the pizza places, are they gonna see my real estate pin as well? Or is that just totally separate because that's not the purpose of that map?
Correct, unless you added your profile to that list, then they
Oh,
would.
okay.
So you could,
Yeah.
that's kind of a cool little hack you came up with
Yeah.
there. You might not put the pizza icon on
Right,
there. You
right.
might leave it the regular circles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of like that. So that
Yeah.
would be, yeah.
Okay, so like any maps that I created, would no matter what they are for. I'm just thinking like if people are gonna make use of my maps, I want to make sure my face and location is also staying in front of them. So yeah, like just manually adding my real estate company, I guess, to each map that it may not be relevant for, but it keeps me in front of who provided that for them, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
you could maybe squeeze it in to the title or the description. The title, it's kind of not a ton of characters, but if it was shortened to just pizza shops, and then it was like space line space Team Curcio, or something like that, or by Team Curcio, or best pizza shops dash by Team Curcio, that might they might see that a little bit. Like if they ever click on it or click on the list or click on one of the places, it's going to say this place is in this list called this thing. In the description, you could put some stuff like that in there too. So there would be a little bit of opportunity to do it. And again, you could add it to every single list too if you wanted to. I don't know what would happen if you had custom icons for all your lists and you had something in all the lists, which icon would supersede? If the pizza would supersede, or the playground, or the smiley face, or I'm not sure. That could be a good test, maybe.
Thanks, Derek.
Yeah. Anybody else? And it could be Google Maps related or Google Business Profile. And I'll give you the 30 seconds it's going to take me to go over to my other computer. And
Derek, it's Donna.
hopefully,
I have a
what's up?
question, and I don't even know if I imagined this or what, which could very well be. Um, did I hear you or someone mentioned that they created a Google map of the homes that they have closed on, like the areas that they've served, and actually put a pinpoint on the addresses? 'Cause for some reason, I feel like I was in a space that somebody did that, and I'm trying to figure out the reasoning for that, unless it was just to show where they've done business.
Yeah, I think it was Dean Jackson, I think has talked
Okay.
about. I think others have, but Dean Jackson, I think maybe, and he said make a list on a map,
Hmm.
and then you're going to have these pins. So whenever you're going on an appointment, you can see really clearly your past clients and you stop by or something. There was someone, it triggers you're going there and you can easily see the other things around you, close to you that you've sold, and then you can talk to them or interact with them somehow. Is that kind of what you remember? I mean, I don't know why else.
Or was
You
it
could
Dean?
share it as like, here's all my sold houses. You could definitely do that. But I think what
Yeah.
he was talking about was more of a marketing
Okay.
angle and
Okay.
like tracking for yourself. So I think he had some special strategy of what you do when you go to that neighborhood, you stopping by those houses or whatever.
And then the other way would be if you had, let's say, a listing appointment or even met with buyers, you could show that I've done business in this area. These are homes that I've closed or whatever. Okay, I got you. For some reason that popped up into my mind a couple days ago, and I was like, what did they do with that and what was the reason? Okay, that makes.
Donna, I think Rhonda Fisher also used that to help her with pot buys.
There you go.
Create sections for doing her pot buys for her clients. Was with a list in Google Maps too.
Yeah, I think it's just an easy way to kind of see and so that you do your stuff when you're close and you're not running around everywhere. Um, if you were going to share a list of like your solds, hopefully you have a lot of sales because if you share a list, if you just started, you got 3 sales, that's going to be a pitiful looking map. So I probably wouldn't share it until it was a little bit more impressive. Not saying you guys aren't selling stuff, but that's why I never liked Home Snap. Like some of those programs, they want you to share it and use that as where your clients go. But if you're not selling a lot, it puts your stats, like your sucky stats, right everywhere, and you couldn't turn it off or anything. And it was like it made you look bad if you weren't selling a ton. So I never sent anybody there, and I didn't. Many agents didn't because of that reason. Um, Anyway, that's a sidetrack. Anything else before I hit up the meet, which the link is above? And again, I'm still going to do it audibly so you can still follow along. Donna, unmiked by accident. All right. I see people coming in. All right, come over if you want to. Cindy's here. I was wondering. Cindy's the one that requested this room last week, and I did invite you up. So hopefully, there you are. Glad you are here. I was going to get on your case.
Thank you. I just wrapped up another meeting I was in, which I can't wait to tell you about afterwards. Hi, everyone. This is Cindy from Salt Lake.
Glad you made it. I'm going to share my screen. Hello, Lisa. And my camera? Oh, all right. There it is. Sweet. All right. So, and again, this recording will be available in the group and via my email and replays and everything. And got a couple more people up. Links at the top if you want to join us on Google Meet and watch it. But again, you don't have to. I'm going to try to talk about everything as I go. So, and I will keep an eye on it. I've got two ear things. I've got the Google Meet ear thing, which I don't think you on Clubhouse need to hear because it's going to be me yapping for the most part. And if somebody asks a question, I'll repeat it. Um, but if you are trying to get in the room and I'm not letting you in the Google Meet room, then say something on Clubhouse and that will alert me to look at it. Because once I put away the people on my screen and start doing my thing, I might miss people trying to get in here. So, hello, everyone. I can see Maria, Deborah, Melanie, and Lisa, and I think there's more people, but hello, hello. So, we'll get started. So, like I said, for the second type, the first type was just regular, a saved list on your Google Maps app. That's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. The second way is a little bit more complicated, not much. But you have more flexibility with it, more customization, more shareability. You can embed it on a website, yada, yada. So on the second way, you can do a lot more things. So if you go to Google and search for My Maps, Google My Maps is what it's called. And if you're watching the screen share, you can see in the corner says My Google My Maps. The actual URL is google.com/maps /D/U/0. I think that last part is me. But just Google My Maps and you'll get it. Then once you get to your dashboard, I've got one test map. I've zeroed out this account so that we have a nice clean account to start from here, other than this one other test map that I was testing polygons to make sure I knew how to do that. So when you get to it, you're not going to have any. It's going to tell you you got all your, oh, I don't own those. Yeah, you can see ones that other, oh, Megan Luker one. So you can see your tabs, all your maps, the ones you own. So I only have one that I own. Like I said, I zeroed mine out. Not owned, a bunch of other ones that people have shared with me. Shared ones, so that would be if somebody added me as a collaborator or I added somebody else as a collaborator. And then recent would be all the recent ones that you've gone in, which is probably going to be the same as the all tab. So you're probably going to have an empty screen with nothing, and all you're going to do is click create a new map. Pretty straightforward. It's a huge red button in the upper left hand corner. You can also, by the way, you can do it on mobile. It's fully functional on mobile. However, it is teeny tiny and hard to work with on mobile. So I would suggest doing it on desktop. Like everything else, I don't know how people work on phones when they're doing stuff at length, or and then people use like the laptop pad instead of a mouse, and that's the most inefficient way to work ever. So get yourself a mouse and do it on a desktop. So I'm going to name the map. I'm going to do, I guess we'll stay along the best pizza shops. So I'm going to say best pizza shops in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Did it stop? Okay, there. Carlisle, Pennsylvania, if I could spell Carlisle. Description, I'm not going to come up with anything fancy right now, but I'll put that in there. Here, like Denise was saying, you could put Derek, or let's say provided by Derek Bixler, EXP Realty, phone, email, blah, 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 blah. And obviously the description could be longer also. But you can put your title there. Then you got your description, which would be the other opportunity to put your contact info and things like that. And then you save it. And then you can see that I am in now that map, and all my controls are on the left side. So there's a panel, a big square that gives you all your controls. It's not super complicated. There's not a ton you can do in here. So it's not super hard to use really once you know the basics. So it will start you with an untitled layer. You can have multiple layers. What a layer, let's say, damn it, my other phone has alarms going off for some reason for the last 10 minutes. Let me turn. Jesus. All right. So my first layer, this is best pizza shops. So like I said, I was doing pizza shops, but in the interest of this, I want to have multiple layers. So I'm going to come up with, hello, come back in. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna say traditional. This layer will be traditional pizza shop. So the ones like I was talking about, the just regular ones. So I'm gonna save that, and then I'm gonna add another layer. So a different list, basically, of let's say what would be a good name for, let's just say micro brew, and I don't know if that's one word or two word, but whatever. Micro brew pizzas, whatever. So there'll be one. Or gourmet pizza. That would be a good one. Gourmet pizza. That's probably what I would rename it, but I won't waste the time now. So I have multiple layers, and you could have more things. And obviously, for other subjects, you could have different layers. So people could see on the map all the traditional shops, all the microbrew pizzas, or they could see just one or just the other or whatever. So now you have a couple layers, your lists. You might only have one list, you might have multiple lists. And now you'll see a button that says import. If you wanted to upload a list, you don't have to manually add each one like you have to on Google Maps. So if you wanted to make a custom My Map of your past sales, you would name it past sales, obviously, put your description, and then your layer. Maybe one layer would be townhomes, and then another layer would be single family homes, and then another layer would be condos. And then you could import rather than typing in each address, which I'll show you how to do. Rather than dropping pins or typing in each address, you could import a spreadsheet. So if you have a spreadsheet, I think somebody is unmuted on Meet, maybe? Deborah and Lisa. Do you have a question? If you have a question, feel free, but if not, mute up. Deborah heard me. What's up? Uh, yeah, let me hold on a second. The Google Meet link is in the chat on Clubhouse, so if you just copy that and email it to yourself, because I can't figure out how to copy the link right now. Okay. Google Meet is the worst. There should be a big giant button that says share room, and there isn't. I need to switch back to Zoom. I know I've been saying that for months. Everybody's like, just do it already. All right, so I'm in here. You can import spreadsheets if you want to. So you just click the import, you click browse, and then you upload your spreadsheet. So if you wanted to upload a spreadsheet of all your past sales. Obviously, you would have to have a spreadsheet of those, but you could put those in there if you had names and things like that. I forget what fields it picks up. I think it's going to give you an opportunity to choose what fields you want to use when you import, but you can come up with a spreadsheet, drop it in there, and then once you drop it in there, you will see here, so if you go to the search bar and search something, it does have regular Google Maps capabilities. So Brad's Pizza that I was trying to find on Spring Road, I looked it up, and then I'm going to say add to map, and it's going to drop it under pizza shops, and you could drop it under a different one or do whatever you wanted to if you wanted to. So you can see you can manually just search the places, or if it was just an address, 127 Holly Drive. If it was just a house of something you sold or whatever, you could add that too, and that's how you would add your houses. Then you can also go back when you click on the pins, and you can see that those pins are on the map that I dropped. That one's there, and the other one is over here, Brad's Pizza and the house that I sold. Once you've done that, you can also click on the place, and now you can add You can change the style, so change the color palette of it, which really just changes the icon color. I usually like to leave them all the same within one list, but you could have different ones if you want. Let's go with green for a restaurant, I think, usually. So green for Brad's Pizza, and you could change the icon itself, what it looks like. You could leave it as a regular pin, or you could put a little hiker or a little picture or a little house. The house is probably what you would put for something else. And there should be a dining one, I thought. My eyes are getting bad. There's a cocktail glass one. More icons. It's got to be pizza in here. Filter. Can I search? Yes, there you go. Pizza icon for that. Sweet. So you can see the icon there. You got the pizza, and then you've got the house. It's a regular pin over there. You can also add an image if you want to click on it, and then you can add stuff. You can add videos from YouTube. This is where I've heard Megan Luker say a lot. She likes to add videos to these, or she's at least talked about it. That's how you would add a video to these. So you can add a photo. I don't have a photo ready to go, but I could drop one in here just for the sake of this. Sure, we'll do that. Some random screenshot, but now you can see. So if somebody was looking at your list and they clicked on the place, they would see the image that you uploaded, that I thought I uploaded. Did I not save it? Yeah, I didn't save it. So blah, blah, blah. You can write a description for that image and then click save. And now when someone clicks on that, they will see the image of it. So if it was a house, you could put a picture of the house there or whatever else you would want to do. If you want to add a video, you have to do it from YouTube, and the video has to be on YouTube, and I think it has to be public. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it has to be public for them, or otherwise they would click to watch it and then they wouldn't be able to watch it. So it has to be public. So it reduces the amount that you can use videos on here, because sometimes the video that you would add here isn't something you really want on your YouTube channel or out there in the public, or it might mess up your algorithm or something. So you might not, videos might be a little bit tougher to add here. It has to be on YouTube to add a video. And maybe you just make like a junk YouTube channel just for video junk stuff that you put on here. Obviously, if you did like a really nice reel for Brad's Pizza, and that's something that you want to put on your YouTube channel anyway, then that would be a good opportunity to use it. But if it was an explainer video about, if it was a vendor's list and you wanted to put a video, an explainer video talking to the users of your map about that inspector, it might not be all that great for your YouTube channel. People aren't going to watch it. It's more of a place where it's just for this use. So I would suggest maybe a trash YouTube channel to put stuff like that on, but you can add videos and you can add images. Like I said, you can add a description to each one of those places. Again, an opportunity to maybe put some of your name there. List by Derek Bixler, EXP Realty, blah, 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 whatever. I'm guessing if they're in this saved map, they know it's your map, because this isn't like just their Google Maps app that stuff appears in. These maps, they would have to kind of purposely go to them. So it's not like they're not going to know that it's yours. So let's save that one. So now I have a couple places. They can even click directions. You can add directions. You can see there's a little button up there that you can add directions to places. You can see it created a whole new layer. You can also add driving routes, biking routes, walking routes, and why isn't it letting me do a polygon? There we go. If you click the little polygon shape under the search bar and click add line or shape, now I could, if I wanted to outline a neighborhood, boom, boom. I just draw my polygon with all the points. Once I'm done and close it, it automatically drops it into a layer. And you could move these layers. If it drops in the wrong one, you can move it. or just redo it or whatever you need to do. And then I would call that whatever, Meadow View Estates. And that's not Meadow View Estates, but whatever, blah, blah, blah. And now I have that polygon showing there. And in the map, you could turn on and off a polygon, or you could have a whole layer that's only polygons, so you could turn off those if you wanted to. Then you could drop pins within that or whatever you wanted to do. And then after it's created, again, you can add a picture for that polygon. So maybe the picture would be a picture of the monument sign of Meadowview Estates, a description in there, yada, yada. And again, you can pick the transparency and some of the settings, the border width, if you want the border to be really thick or narrow, the color of the polygon. So if you had multiple polygons, you'd probably change the color and have a different color for each one. But pretty straightforward. If you need to delete anything, trash button right there. You can measure distances in here. I don't do much of that, but you could do that if you want to. And then if you wanted to drop a pin somewhere, so you don't have an address for a place. So let's say a good example would be a hiking trail. I want to drop a pin right at this awesome place for a view, but there is no Google business profile for me to send to people, and there's no address for me to look up or send to people. So I just really need to just find it on the map, and then right where it is, I'm going to drop a pin. So you can just drop a pin there, and again, it'll let you, that's a place now, and it's been dropped into your layer, and you'll just name it White Rocks Overlook. And of course, my keyboard is going to stop. Or maybe it's not. There it goes. White Rocks Overlook. Description, blah, 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 and save. And now you have a pin right where it was. And again, you could change the icon to a little hiker or a tree or whatever you want to change that to. So you can drop pins. You can type an address in, or a business because it's searching via Google Maps, or you can upload and import a list via CSV file or a spreadsheet, like I said, and a KML. But I won't. A KML is more of a specifically a map doc, so nobody's going to be dealing in KMLs. So probably a spreadsheet or a CSV. And those are the ways you can get your locations into a map. Then you can customize them all, and then you can also make the polygons and shapes. And that's pretty much it for creating the maps. I don't think there is any limit to how many layers you can have, or at least I haven't made so many layers that it cut me off. So I don't think there's a limit to layers, but you're probably not going to have a million in there. If you want to switch to aerial, you click that little button that says base map, and you could click it to showing an aerial version or a mixture version or a topo version or a bunch of different versions in there. Typically, you're probably just doing the satellite or the default Google Maps. And then to share it with people, a couple different ways you can do it. Click the share button. You can either do just like any other Google Doc that you're sharing, you can do anybody with the link can view it, which is probably how you're going to do it. Or you could not do that, in which case, if you wanted to share it with the people, you would have to add them as a collaborator. So I'm going to make this one anyone with the link can view. And there's a button to let others search for and find this map on the internet. Turn it on, obviously. I don't think it happens, just like with the Google Maps list. I've never, ever seen a case of it, seen a map pop up in my search results, heard of somebody finding my map, yada, yada. But you could do that if you want to. And then there's a link right there to copy, and you just send that link to somebody. And then when they click the link, and you can look at your own map, just take that. Oh, it's going to take me to the, I know it was going to do that. Let's see if I can log in as a different email address so I can view it as somebody that doesn't own the list. There you go. So now I'm viewing the map as a consumer, and you can see it's a little bit nicer, but looks pretty much like we were looking in our view. I can turn layers on and off. It's not showing the other layers that were on my map because there's no places dropped into those layers. So it's not showing those. So if you had multiple layers, you could turn on and off the layers, look at different ones. If you click the three dots at the top, you can collapse the legend, get some details, copy the map, print the map, zoom to viewport, embed the map, which I'll talk about a little bit. That's how you put it on your website. Other than just having a button that says view map and they click to this, you could also have it right in your website page, which I'll get into briefly. Download KML, which you're not going to do. That's something that's heady for maps, and you could kind of, a KML is kind of like a spreadsheet that talks to maps specifically. That's about all I know about them, so I won't go into it more. A lot of the stuff on Google Earth and Google Earth Studio, they work a lot in these KML files, and there's another K type file type, I think, but for the most part you won't need that. And then you can also click to view on Google Earth. So if you wanted to see this custom map that I created on Google Earth, you just click view on Google Earth and it'll take you to look at it over there. And I'm not going to wait for that to load. Um, They could also search the map. So if you had a map that was not just pizza shops, but best restaurants in Carlisle, PA, and then the one layer was pizza shops, the one layer was tacos, and maybe there's 100 layers, so it's hard to look through. They could search. They could go to your best restaurants in Carlisle, Pennsylvania map and just type in pizza, and then theoretically the pizza ones would all pop up and take them right to it. If you click the three lines at the top, it will give you, which would be your own, that person's own personal maps account. They could create a new map, they could open a map, or they could see the ones that were shared with them, but that would take them to this other email addresses, this other person's My Maps creation part. Any questions on anything so far? Pretty straightforward, I think. Not much to do in here. And then the last thing I think is to embed it on my website. So if you don't know what embed means, when you see that, when you click share and something says embed, E-M-B-E-D, embed or embedded link or code, that is how you put it on your website. So it shows up right on the website page. So I have created a best pizza shops stupid keyboard. I need to get a hardwired keyboard. Best pizza shops. So annoying. Best. How about I smash it? How about that? All right, there we go. Best pizza. It heard me say I was going to smash it. It said, all right, I'll work. Best pizza shops. And that should take me to my page that I created. So you just create a page on your website, or if it's just on your homepage or wherever you're putting the embedded thing, you can embed Google Maps, you can embed a certain place. Like if I have a house for sale on my property listing pages, I embed a Google map of that listing and a directions button. So not a custom map like I'm talking about, but I embed just a Google map. But let's say I've got a blog post or a website page, best pizza shops in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and I've got some blah, blah headings, blah, blah, blah. And at one point in my website, I want to add that actual map so it's viewable on this website page without sending them to that map. Why would you want to do that? Obviously, if you have a blog article, it's good content and good supporting documentation, visuals, yada, yada, for your blog content and a good resource. Also, even if it wasn't a blog article and all it was, and I'll even delete all this, all it was the map, that would be better, in my opinion. Just sending them to a page on your website with a map would be better than sending them just to the map via Google, via the regular share button. Because, like I always talk about, always want to be sending people to your website, not to an IDX feed, not to a Canva thing, not to anything else. Everything should be, hopefully, traffic is always driven to your website, which has tracking cookies, Facebook pixels, all the things on it, all your branding. They can get to other things if they need to. If you want it to be a true sales page, you could remove lots of the links to other stuff and whatever. But we always want to drive people to our website as much as possible. Like even with my discovery call link, you'll notice that it now sends people to my search bomb website that has a page called schedule a discovery call. And then the Calendly thing is embedded in that discovery call page on my website. So I don't send them to Calendly, I send them to my website where Calendly is embedded. So that's why you would want to put it on your own website. Again, don't have to. If you can't do it, don't do it. If it's too complicated or you don't have a website or whatever, you don't need to. But first step is you need to add a block, HTML. So I'm in WordPress here, but whether you're on Square, Wix, whatever builder, HTML block is what you're looking for. So you're going to add an HTML block. I'm going to go over to my map and I'm going to click embed on my site, and it'll give you a code. You copy the code, and you can see there's a little button here, and I didn't know this. Include the owner's profile picture and name in the header. The profile picture is always visible in full screen mode and in Drive. I don't know that it matters because they're going to be on my website anyway, but yeah, I'll choose to have more branding, so to speak, than less branding. Then I just take that code, I plop it into that, paste it into that HTML block on my website that I created. On mine, I can click preview and it'll show it to me, and you can see that the map is right there and will appear on this website page. On mine, on WordPress, for some reason, I can't make these embedded Google Maps centered. I don't even have an option to do so. If anybody knows how, let me know. But anyway, it is definitely on there. And if I was on mobile, it wouldn't need to be centered because it would be centered anyway. It would take up the whole screen. But you can see the list right there is on the website. And if people click on the little scroll out tab to bring out the details and everything, you can see the different layers there, and it's all interactive just like it was. And you can see when I click on Brad's Pizza, even though I didn't put a photo in there, it brings some Google Maps photos and stuff in there. Or if I wanted to, where's the one? If I click on that address that I put in, you see the picture that I inputted there, and you can click view on Google Maps if they want to drive there or something, and all the things. So fully functional when you embed it as well. Any questions on embedding? Any questions in general, Clubhouse or Google Meet?
No, but I
And if
do have well, one question is I know at one time these would stay in this house, the recordings, for just a brief period of time. Are you still doing that? Are you still removing them? And how long do they stay? Because I feel like I will need to sit down with my computer with a clear mind. But these are some of the things that I want to do. And so I want to kind of follow along with you, but be able to pause it at my pace, if that makes
yeah,
sense.
Yeah, well, obviously the screen sharing is not on Clubhouse anyway, so the audio will be there for 7 days. So till next week, it'll be on Clubhouse. But also, if you're on my email list, there will be a link to the screen share, to the audio, always available on my
Okay.
website via link in the chat, or just go to my website and you could find the replays tab. I think it's under Google Business Profile or something like that. Um, or also, the video will be in Real Estate All Day. I'll post it once I hit or edit it. I'll drop it into Real Estate All Day too. So should be good to go later whenever you're ready to do it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Google or Clubhouse? If not, I'll let everybody get back to their day, and I'm going to get back to splicing up township or borough meetings. That's If you're not doing that, I feel like I'm yapping about it a lot, but I'm doing this new content news kind of content creation about my town, and just the meetings alone, which are live streamed, and my attorney that I asked said I have free reign to cut up and use because there's like public information or whatever. um, it's a gold mine for of you could just cut it. Like the one video I posted earlier this week was just a minute of what were they talking about? I don't even remember what they were talking about. But there's always something. Every meeting it's an hour long, and there's at least 10 things in there that could be chopped up and made into a reel. Right now we have an open council seat, so I'm going to chop up each one's. There was a workshop where they televised all the people's spiels about why they want to be a council person, but it was all split up. Nobody watches it, so I'm going to kind of splice it up and put all the one person's answers that were separated together. Like this is a video on just this candidate. Here's a video on just this candidate, which is all pretty easy and people care about it. I'm also doing, like I said, the best pizza shops. I'm going to every one. I'm getting one slice of plain pizza. And then I'll report on it. And every time I'm doing like three at a time, I share a reel about those three, just like part day two eating pizza. And then in my lives, I'll go over the pizza and talk about it. People will chime in, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that was off topic.
So
Anybody have any questions or anything? Go
what is considered plain pizza? Cheese pizza?
Yes, just a
Okay.
plain cheese slice. Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for having this space. You really do inspire me. It feels like you've had this has always been a part of Clubhouse. I know it's fairly new, and I just want to thank you for holding this place for us.
Well,
You
I
bet.
second that, Derek. Thanks. That was really great. It was fast and admittedly a little difficult to quite follow along because I couldn't open it up on my desktop and the phone's kind of hard for me to see that small. But it was such great content, and I knew what you were talking about, and I followed that. So appreciate that you have that recorded, and just appreciate you, Derek. Oh, and by the way, right out of the blue, we've got our first major storm warning, storm coming in, winter storm, and we're forecasted 16 to 20 inches. Right here. Okay, so that ought to be fun. No, I don't have my snow tires on. Okay. Anyway, y'all have a great day.
Well, that's awesome. We probably won't get any snow at all here, so I'll have to drive. We never get any anymore. So I'm a little bit jealous. I don't quite want it quite yet, but I want it at some point, someday maybe. So, all right, I guess we'll close her out. I'm not at my other computer, so I'm not going to play any music or anything. I'm just going to say goodbye. Goodbye, Google Meet people, the couple of you that are still here. Reminder that the recording will be dropped in all those places. If you want to be on my email list, just go to my website and it should be a pop up there. Unless you've dismissed it before, then you might have to click something extra to subscribe or something. But it'll be out there. Hit me up if you need it or if you have any questions, and have an awesome Wednesday. See you, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, Derek.
Bye bye.